Hey everyone, today I'm excited to share something powerful with you, a breakdown of the best-selling book Atomic Habits by James Clear. I created a clean, easy-to-follow breakdown that focuses on the ideas that actually matter. Simple strategies, powerful mindset shifts, and practical concepts you can start using right away. The narration is guided by my AI assistant Linda, who walks you through each idea step by step, making everything clear and easy to observe. And make sure to stay until the end of the video, because I also show you how you can get the full presentation for yourself. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into how small habits can lead to massive results.
Chapter 1: The Surprising Power of Atomic Habits. We convince ourselves that massive success requires massive action. Whether it is losing weight, building a business, writing a book, winning a championship, or achieving any other goal, we put pressure on ourselves to make some earth-shattering improvement that everyone will talk about. Improving 1% isn't particularly notable or noticeable in the long run. If you get 1% better each day for 1 year, you'll end up 37 times better at the end of the year. What starts as a small win or a minor setback accumulates into something much more: the aggregation of marginal gains. British cycling teams for 100 years were mediocre, not winning any medals anywhere. Dave Brailsford was hired as coach. He put them on a strategy, the aggregation of marginal gains, which was the philosophy of searching for tiny margin of improvement in everything you do. Brailsford said, "The whole principle came from the idea that if you broke down everything you could think of that goes into riding a bike, and then improve it by 1%, you will get a significant increase when you put them all together." They redesigned the bike seats to make them more comfortable, rubbed alcohol on the tires for a better grip, asked riders to wear electrically heated overshorts to maintain ideal muscle temperature while riding. Brailsford continued to find 1% improvements in unexpected areas. Just 5 years after Brailsford took over, the British cycling team dominated the road and track cycling events at the 2008 Olympic Games, where they won an astounding 60% of the gold medals available. 4 years later, they set 9 Olympic records and 7 world records, captured 5 Tour de France victories in what is widely regarded as the most successful run in cycling history. How can you replicate this approach in your own life? Success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations. It doesn't matter how successful or unsuccessful you are right now. What matters is whether your habits are putting you on the path towards success. You should be far more concerned with your current trajectory than with your current results. If you're a millionaire but you spend more than you earn each month, then you're on a bad trajectory. If your spending habits don't change, it's not going to end well. Conversely, if you're broke, but you save a little bit every month, then you're on the path toward financial freedom, even if you're moving slower than you'd like. Your outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits. Your net worth is a lagging measure of your financial habits. Your weight is a lagging measure of your eating habits. Your clutter is a lagging measure of your cleaning habits. You get what you repeat. What progress is like. Habits appear to make no difference until you cross a critical threshold and unlock a new level of performance. This is called the plateau of latent potential. It is like geological pressure causing earthquakes. For example, bamboo can barely be seen for the first 5 years as it builds extensive root systems underground before exploding 90 feet into the air within 6 weeks. In the early and middle stages of any quest, there is often a valley of disappointment. You expect to make progress in a linear fashion, and it's frustrating how ineffective changes can seem during the first days, weeks, and even months. But your work was not wasted. It is just being stored. When you finally break through, people will call it an overnight success. It's the work you did long ago, when it seemed that you weren't making any progress, that makes the jump today possible. How the choices you make affect your life. If you want to predict where you will end up in life, all you have to do is to follow the curve of tiny gains and tiny losses. and see how your daily choices will compound to 10 to 20 years down the line. Are you spending less than you earn each month? Are you making it into the gym each week? Are you reading books and learning something new each day? Tiny battles like these are the ones that will define your future self. Time magnifies the margin between success and failure. It will multiply whatever you feed it. Good habits make time your ally. Bad habits make time your enemy. Habits are a double-edged sword. Bad habits can cut you down just as easily as good habits can build you up. Forget about goals, focus on systems instead. Goals are about the results you want to achieve. Systems are about the processes that lead to those results. If you completely ignored goals and focused only on your system, would you still succeed? I think you would. The only way to win is to get better every day. Goals are important in setting a direction, but systems are best for making progress. Problem 1. Winners and losers have the same goals. Every Olympian wants to win a gold medal. Every candidate wants to get the job. And if successful and unsuccessful people share the same goals, then the goal cannot be what differentiates the winners from the losers. Problem 2. Achieving goal is only a momentary change. Achieving a goal only changes your life for the moment. That's the counterintuitive thing about improvement. We think we need to change our results, but the results are not the problem. What we really need to change are the systems that cause those results. Problem 3. Goals restrict your happiness. The implicit assumption behind any goal is this: once I reach my goal, then I'll be happy. Furthermore, goals create an either-or conflict. Either you achieve your goal and are successful, or you fail, and you are a disappointment. Problem 4. Goals are at odds with long-term progress. The purpose of setting goals is to win the game. The purpose of building systems is to continue playing the game. Chapter 2. How your habits shape your identity. Why is it so easy to repeat bad habits and so hard to form good ones? There are 3 layers of behavior change. The first layer is changing your outcomes. This level is concerned with changing your results. Losing weight, publishing a book, winning a championship. The second layer is changing your process. This level is concerned with changing your habits and systems. Implementing a new routine at the gym, decluttering your desk for better workflow. The third and deepest layer is changing your identity. This level is concerned with changing your beliefs, your worldview, your self-image, your judgments about yourself and others. Outcomes are about what you get. Processes are about what you do. Identity is about what you believe. Many people begin the process of changing their habits by focusing on what they want to achieve. The alternative is to build identity-based habits. With this approach, we start by focusing on who we wish to become. True behavior change is identity change. The goal is not to read a book. The goal is to become a reader. The goal is not to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner. 2-step process to changing your identity. Firstly, decide the person you want to be. Secondly, prove it to yourself through small wins. Ask yourself, who is the type of person that could get the outcome I want? For example, a reliable and consistent person could write a book. So focus shifts from writing a book to becoming a person who is consistent and reliable. Once you have a handle on the type of person you want to be, you can begin taking small steps to reinforce your desired identity. The woman who lost over 100 pounds by asking herself, would a healthy person walk or take a cab? Would a healthy person order a burrito or a salad? She figured if she acted like a healthy person long enough, eventually she would become that person. Habits shape identity, and identity shapes your habits. It's a feedback loop and a two-way street. You have the power to change your beliefs about yourself. Chapter 3. Build better habits in 4 simple steps. A habit is a behavior that has been repeated enough times to become automatic. The ultimate purpose of habits is to solve the problems of life with as little energy and effort as possible. Any habit can be broken down into a feedback loop that involves 4 steps: cue, craving, response, and reward. The cue triggers a craving, which motivates a response, which provides a reward, which satisfies the craving and ultimately becomes associated with the cue. Together, these 4 steps form a neurological feedback loop that ultimately allows you to create automatic habits. For example, cue: wake up. Craving: want to feel alert. Response: drink coffee. Reward: feel alert. Cue: you hit a stumbling block in project. Craving: want relief from frustration. Response: check phone for social media. Reward: feel better. How to create a good habit: make cue obvious, make craving attractive, make response easy, make reward satisfying. Reverse is true for breaking a bad habit. Chapter number 4. The first law of behavior change is make it obvious. Once our habits become automatic, we stop paying attention to what we are doing. The process of behavior change always starts with awareness. You need to be aware of your habits before you can change them. To rate a habit, ask if it helps you become the person you want to be and if it aligns with your desired identity. Pointing and calling is a safety system that increases awareness by verbalizing actions. The Habits Scorecard is a simple exercise that helps you become aware of your behavior by listing your daily habits and categorizing them. If it is a good habit, write plus next to it. If it is a bad habit, write minus. If it is a neutral habit, write equals. However, for rating a habit, you may ask, does this behavior help me become the type of person I wish to be? In the first step, the goal is simply to notice what is actually going on. Don't judge. Hear your bad habits spoken aloud makes the consequences seem more real. Chapter number 5. The best way to start a new habit. Cues can come in various forms, but the most common ones are time and location. Creating an implementation intention is a strategy you can use top air, a new habit with a specific time and location. Many people think that they lack motivation when what they actually lack is clarity. The implementation intention formula is I will behavior at time, in location. If you aren't sure when to start a habit, try the first day of the week, month, or a year when hope is high. A fresh start feels motivating. Habit stacking is a strategy you can use to pair a new habit with a current habit. The habit stacking formula is after current habit, I will new habit. After I drink coffee in the morning, I will meditate for 1 minute. After I sit for dinner, I will say one thing I'm grateful for that happened today. After I close the door, I will text a family member where I am going and when I will return. You can even place a new habit anywhere in a stack of habits. For example, if you want to start habit of reading before bedtime, you can do this in the morning routine. Wake up, make bed, place a book on my pillow, take shower, exercise. When I see a set of stairs, I will take them instead of an elevator. Mood. When the phone rings, I will take one deep breath and smile before answering. Chapter number 6. Motivation is overrated. Environment often matters more. People often choose products not because of what they are, but because of where they are. Your habits change depending on the room you are in and the cues in front of you. Every habit is initiated by a cue. We are more likely to notice cues that stand out. Customers buy product not because they need them, but because how it is presented to them. We perceive the world through sight, smell, sound, touch, and taste. Most powerful one is vision. Thankfully, you can also be the architect of your environment. For example, if you want to remember to take a medicine regularly, place it next to the faucet in a bathroom counter. If you want to drink more water, keep water easily accessible. By sprinkling triggers throughout your surroundings, you increase the odds that you will think about your habit throughout the day. When you can't manage to get an entirely new environment, redefine or rearrange your current one. Create a separate space for work, study, exercise, entertainment. If your space is not enough, divide your room into activity zones. A chair for reading, a desk for writing, a table for eating. You can do the same thing with digital spaces. A computer for writing, tablet for reading, and phone for social media and texting. Be the designer of your world, and not merely the consumer of it. Chapter 7. The inversion of the first law of behavior change is make it invisible. Once a habit is formed, it is unlikely to be forgotten. People with high self-control tend to spend less time in tempting situations. It's easier to avoid temptation than resist it. Addictions could spontaneously dissolve if there is a radical change in the environment. A drug user is addicted with friends at home. When he goes to a clinic, the cues are absent and it is easier to quit the habit. But once you come back home, the cues are again there to return to addiction. Create a more disciplined environment. Bad habits feed themselves. It's cue-induced wanting. You can break a bad habit, but you're unlikely to forget it. Simply resisting temptation is an ineffective strategy because it takes too much energy. A more reliable approach is to cut off the habits at the source by reducing exposure to the cue that causes it. If you can't seem to get any work done, leave your phone in another room for a few hours. If you continually feel you are not good enough, stop following social media accounts that trigger jealousy and envy. If you are wasting too much time on TV, move it out of the bedroom. If you are playing too much video games, unplug console and put it in a closet after each use. Self-control is a short-term strategy, not a long-term one. Chapter number 8. The second law of behavior change is make it attractive. Every habit taking drugs, eating junk food, playing video games, browsing social media is associated with higher levels of dopamine. Dopamine is not just all about pleasure, but also motivation, learning and memory, punishment and aversion, and voluntary movement. Dopamine is released also when you anticipate it. Gambling addicts have a dopamine spike right before they place a bet, not after they win. It is anticipation of the reward, not the fulfillment of it, that gets us to take action. As a child, thinking about Christmas morning can be better than opening the gifts. The brain has far more neural circuitry allocated for wanting rewards than liking them. Desire is the engine that drives behavior. Temptation bundling works by linking an action you want to do with an action you need to do. You can combine temptation bundling with the habit stacking strategy to create a set of rules to guide your behavior. The habit stacking plus temptation bundling formula is after, current habit, I will, habit, I need. After, habit I need, I will, habit I want. For example, if you want to check Facebook but you need to exercise more, after I pull out my phone, I will do 10 burp press, need. After I do 10 burp press, I will check Facebook, want. Chapter 9. The role of family and friends in shaping your habits. Laszlo Polgar is an educational psychologist, claimed that with deliberate practice and the development of good habits, a child could become a genius in any field. His mantra was, "A genius is not born, but is educated and trained." He believed in this idea so strongly that he wanted to test it with his own children. Laszlo decided chess would be a suitable field for the experiment, and he laid out a plan to raise his children to become chess prodigies. Susan, the oldest, began playing chess when she was 4 years old. Within 6 months, she was defeating adults. Sophia, the middle child, did even better. By 14, she was a world champion, and a few years later, she became a grandmaster. Judith, the youngest, became the grandmaster at 15 years old, younger than Bobby Fischer, the previous record holder. In interviews, the sisters talk about their childhood as entertaining rather than grueling. They loved playing chess. The Polgar sisters grew up in a culture that prioritized chess above all else, praised them for it, rewarded them for it. Humans are herd animals. We want to fit in, to bond with others, and to earn the respect and approval of our peers. Such inclinations are essential to our survival. In the long history of humankind, those who learn to collaborate and improvise most effectively have prevailed. We don't choose our earliest habits, we imitate them. Often you follow the habits of your culture without thinking, questioning, remembering. We imitate the habits of three groups: the close, the many, the powerful. We copy the way our parents handle arguments, the way our peers flirt with one another, the way coworker gets results. One study found that the higher your best friend's IQ at age 11 to 12, the higher your IQ would be at age 15. One of the most effective things you can do to build better habits is to join a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. Imitating the many. The normal behavior of the tribe often overpowers the desired behavior of the individual. The human mind wants to get along with each others. It wants to get along with others. Running against the grain of your culture requires effort. Imitating the powerful. Humans everywhere pursue power, prestige, and status. We are drawn to behaviors that earn us respect, approval, admiration, and status. This is one reason we care so much about the habits of highly effective people. Chapter 10. How to find and fix the causes of bad habits. Habit like smoking always starts with your friends. One friend smokes, then you try it. The inversion of the second law of behavior change is make it unattractive. Every behavior has a surface-level craving and a deeper motive. Browsing Facebook equals bond with others. Posting on Instagram equals win social acceptance. Searching on Google equals reduce uncertainty. Playing video games equals achieve status. Your habits are modern-day solutions to ancient desires. There are many different ways to address the same underlying motive. Your current habits are not necessarily the best ways to solve the problems you face. They are the methods you learn to use. For example, one person might learn to reduce stress by smoking a cigarette. Another person learns to ease his anxiety by going for a run. The same cue can spark a good or a bad habit, depending on your prediction. For example, two people look at a cigarette, and one person feels the urge to smoke while the other is repulsed by the smell. How to reprogram your brain to enjoy hard habits. Many people associate exercise with being a challenging task that drains energy and wears you down. Instead of telling yourself, "I need to go run in the morning," say, "It's time to build endurance and get fast." Habits are attractive when we associate them with positive feelings and unattractive when we associate them with negative feelings. Create a motivation ritual by doing something you enjoy immediately before a difficult habit. Chapter number 11. The third law of behavior change is make it easy. It is easy to get bogged down trying to find the optimal plan for change, the fastest way to lose weight, the best program to build muscle. We are so focused on figuring out the best approach that we never get around to taking action. The best is the enemy of the good. If you want to master a habit, the key is to start with repetition, not perfection. You don't need to map out every feature of a new habit. You just need to practice it. Repeating a habit leads to clear physical changes in the brain. Mathematicians have increased gray matter in the inferior parietal lobule, which plays a key role in computation and calculation. Its size is directly correlated with the amount of time spent in the field. The older and more experienced the mathematician, the greater the increase in gray matter. All habits follow a similar trajectory, a process known as automaticity. Automaticity is the ability to perform a behavior without thinking about each step, which occurs when the non-conscious mind takes over. Chapter number 12. Human behavior follows the law of least effort. The truth is, our real motivation is to be lazy and to do what is convenient. Energy is precious, and the brain is wired to conserve it whenever possible. The less energy a habit requires, the more likely it is to occur. Habits like scrolling on phones, checking email, watching TV steal so much of your time because they can be performed almost without effort. You don't actually want the habit itself, but the outcome it delivers. If you make your good habits more convenient, you'll be more likely to follow them through on them. Reduce the friction associated with good habits and increase the friction associated with our bad ones. Habits are easier to build when they fit into the flow of your life. You are more likely to go to the gym if it is on your way to work. Prime the environment for future use. Want to do exercise? Set out your work clothes, shoes, gym bag, and water bottle ahead of time. To avoid watching TV, unplug the TV and take batteries out of the remote after each use, so it takes an extra 10 seconds to turn it back on. Or, take the TV out of your living room. Chapter number 13. How to stop procrastinating. 40 to 50% of our daily actions are done out of habit. You check your phone for just a second, and soon you have spent 20 minutes staring at the screen. The 2-minute rule states, when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Any habit can be scaled down into a 2-minute version. Read before bed each night becomes read 1 page. Do 30 minutes of yoga becomes take out my yoga mat. Study for class becomes open my notes. The idea is to make your habits as easy as possible to start. Anyone can meditate for 1 minute or read 1 page. This is a powerful strategy because once you've started doing the right thing, it is much easier to continue doing it. A new habit should not feel like a challenge. The actions that follow can be challenging, but the first 2 minutes should be easy. You can usually figure out the gateway habits that will lead to your desired outcome by mapping out your goals on a scale from very easy to very hard. For instance, running a marathon is very hard. Running a 5K is hard. Walking 10,000 steps is moderately difficult. Walking 10 minutes is easy. And putting on your running shoes is very easy. Your goal might be to run a marathon, but your gateway habit is to put on your running shoes. A habit must be established before it can be improved. Chapter number 14. How to make good habits, inevitable and bad habits impossible. Sometimes success is less about making good habits easy and more about making bad habits hard. This is the inversion of the third law of behavior change. Make it difficult. A commitment device is a choice you make in the present that controls your actions in the future. It is a way to lock in future behavior, bind your good habits, and restrict your bad ones. For example, the athletes who have to make weight for a competition choosing to leave their wallets at home during the week before weigh-in so they won't be tempted to buy fast food. Another example, the author's friend purchased an outlet timer, which is an adapter that he plugged in between his internet router and the power outlet. At 10 p.m. each night, the outlet timer cuts off the power to the router. When the internet goes off, everyone knows it is time to go to bed. One-time choices, like buying a better mattress or enrolling in an automatic savings plan, are single actions that automate your future habits and deliver increasing returns over time. When you automate as much of your life as possible, you can spend your effort on the tasks machines cannot do yet. Each habit that we hand over to the authority of technology frees up time and energy to pour into the next stage of growth. Chapter 15. The fourth law of behavior change is make it satisfying. We are more likely to repeat a behavior when the experience is satisfying. Feelings of pleasure, even minor ones like washing your hands with soap that smells nice and lathers swell, are signals that tell the brain, this feels good. Do this again, next time. Toothpaste and chewing gum sales increased by adding ingredients which improve taste. Pleasure teaches your brain that a behavior is worth remembering and repeating. The human brain evolved to prioritize immediate rewards over delayed rewards. What is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided. Why would someone smoke if they know it increases the risk of lung cancer? Why would someone overeat when they know it increases their risk of obesity? The costs of your good habits are in the present and bad habits are in the future. Smoking might kill in 10 years, but it reduces stress and eases the nicotine cravings now. Overeating is harmful in the long run, but appetizing in the moment. We all want better lives for our future selves. However, when the moment of decision arrives, instant gratification usually wins. If you're willing to wait for the rewards, you'll face less competition and often get a bigger payoff. As the saying goes, the last mile is always the least crowded. People who are better at delaying gratification have lower levels of substance abuse, lower likelihood of obesity, better responses to stress, and superior social skills. To get a habit to stick, you need to feel immediately successful, even if it's in a small way. Open a savings account. Whenever you pass on a purchase, put the same amount of money in the account. One couple used a similar setup. They wanted to stop eating out so much and start cooking together more. Whenever they skipped going out to eat, they transferred $50 into the account. At the end of the year, they put the money toward the vacation. Chapter 16. How to stick with good habits every day. Making progress is satisfying, and visual measures, like moving paper clips or hairpins or marbles, provide clear evidence of your progress. As a result, they reinforce your behavior and add a little bit of immediate satisfaction to any activity. Visual measurement comes in forms: food journals, workout logs, loyalty punch cards, the progress bar on a software download, even the page numbers in a book. But perhaps the best way to measure your progress is with a habit tracker. The most basic format is to get a calendar and cross off each day you stick with your routine. Benjamin Franklin, at the age of 20, carried a small booklet everywhere he went and used it to track 13 personal virtues. The list included goals like lose no time, be always employed in something useful, avoid trifling conversation. At the end of each day, Franklin would open his booklet and record his progress. Don't break a chain is a powerful mantra. Try to keep your habit streak alive. Never miss twice. If you miss one day, try to get back on track as quickly as possible. The dark side of tracking a particular behavior is that we become driven by the number rather than the purpose behind it. We care about getting 1,000 steps than being healthy. When we choose the wrong measurement, we get the wrong behavior. Chapter 17. How an accountability partner can change everything. The inversion of the fourth law of behavior change is make it unsatisfying. We are less likely to repeat a bad habit if it is painful or unsatisfying. The best way to avoid bad habit is to increase the speed of punishment associated with the behavior. The more immediate and more costly a mistake is, the faster you will learn from it. The threat of a bad review forces a plumber to be good at his job. The possibility of a customer never returning makes restaurants create good food. The cost of cutting the wrong blood vessel makes a surgeon master human anatomy and cut carefully. When the consequences are severe, people learn quickly. There is, of course, a limit to this. If you're going to rely on punishment to change behavior, then the strength of the punishment must match the relative strength of the behavior it is trying to correct. To be productive, the cost of procrastination must be greater than the cost of action. To be healthy, the cost of laziness must be greater than the cost of exercise. To make bad habits unsatisfying, your best option is to make them painful in the moment. You can create a habit contract. It is a verbal or written agreement in which you state your commitment to a particular habit and the punishment that will occur if you don't follow through. Then, you find one or two people to act as your accountability partners and sign off on the contract with you. The signing of the contract brings seriousness. Even if you don't have a contract, having an accountability partner is useful. Knowing that someone is watching can be a powerful motivator. Chapter 18. The truth about talent. When genes matter and when they don't. The secret to maximizing your odds of success is to choose the right field of competition. Genes determine your areas of opportunity. Habits are easier when they align with your natural abilities. Pick the right habit and progress is easy. Pick the wrong habit and life is a struggle. In the beginning of a new activity, there should be a period of exploration. It is probably most effective to work on the strategy that seems to deliver the best results about 80 to 90% of the time, and keep exploring with the remaining 10 to 20%. Google famously asks employees to spend 80% of the work week on their official job and 20% on projects of their choice, which has led to the creation of blockbuster products like AdWords and Gmail. As you explore different options, there are a series of questions you can ask yourself. What feels like fun to me but work to others? The mark of whether you are made for a task is not whether you love it, but whether you can handle the pain of the task easier than most people. What makes me lose track of time? Flow is a mental state you enter when you are so focused on the task at hand that the rest of the world fades away. Where do I get greater returns than the average person? We are constantly comparing ourselves to those around us, and the behavior is more likely to be satisfying when the comparison is in our favor. What comes naturally to me? Look inside yourself and ask, what feels natural to me? When I felt alive. No internal judgments or people-pleasing. No self-criticism. Play a game that favors your strengths. If you can't find a game that favors you, create one. Genes do not eliminate the need for hard work. They clarify it. They tell us what to work hard on. Chapter 19. The Goldilocks rule states that humans experience peak motivation when working on tasks that are right on the edge of their current abilities. Not too hard, not too easy, just right. There are enough victories to keep motivated and enough mistakes to keep working hard. Once a habit has been established, it's important to continue to advance in small ways. These little improvements and new challenges keep you engaged. And if you hit the Goldilocks zone just right, you can achieve a flow state. A flow state is the experience of being in the zone and fully immersed in an activity. And to achieve a state of flow, a task must be roughly 4% beyond your current ability. The greatest threat to success is not failure, but boredom. As habits become routine, they become less interesting and less satisfying. We get bored. Anyone can work hard when they feel motivated. It's the ability to keep going when work isn't exciting that makes the difference. Successful people feel the same lack of motivation as everyone else. The difference is that they still find a way to show up despite the feelings of boredom. Professionals stick to the schedule. Amateurs let life get in the way. When a habit is truly important to you, you have to be willing to stick to it in any mood. Professionals take action even when the mood isn't right. Chapter 20. The downside of creating good habits. Benefits of habits come at a cost. At first, each repetition develops fluency, speed, and skill. But then, as a habit becomes automatic, you become less sensitive to feedback. You fall into mindless repetition. It becomes easier to let mistakes slide. When you can do it good enough on autopilot, you stop thinking how to do it better. The less energy you spend on trivial choices, the more you can spend on what really matters. If you want to maximize your potential and achieve elite levels of performance, you need a combination of automatic habits and deliberate practice. Habits plus deliberate practice equals mastery. Reflection and review is a process that allows you to remain conscious of your performance over time. The author of the book each December performs an annual review. He reflects on the progress by asking 3 questions. 1. What went well this year? 2. What didn't go so well this year? 3. What did I learn? 6 months later, he conducts an integrity report in which he answers 3 questions. 1. What are the core values that drive my life and work? 2. How I am living and working with integrity right now. 3. How can I set higher standard in the future? These 2 reports don't take very long. Just a few hours per year, but they are crucial periods of refinement. How to break beliefs that hold you back. In the beginning, repeating a habit is essential to build up evidence of your desired identity. The more sacred an idea is to us, that is, the more deeply it is tied to our identity, the more strongly we will defend it against criticism. The tighter we cling to an identity, the harder it becomes to grow beyond it. If your identity is wrapped up in a belief like, I'm a great soldier, what happens when your period of service ends? Same thing with I'm the CEO or I'm the founder. The key to mitigating these losses of identity is to redefine yourself such that you get to keep important aspects of your identity, even if your particular role changes. I'm a great soldier transforms into I'm the type of person who is disciplined, reliable, and great on a team. I'm the CEO translates to I'm the type of person who builds and creates things. Whenever you're looking to improve, you can rotate through the 4 laws of behavior change until you find the next bottleneck. Make it obvious. Make it attractive. Make it easy. Make it satisfying. Always looking for the next way to get 1% better. Small habits don't add up. They compound.
Thanks so much for watching. I hope this presentation gave you a few insights you can start applying right away. If you found it helpful and would like the PDF version of the presentation, you can get it via my Buy Me Coffee page, link in the description. You can donate any amount you feel comfortable with, and you will receive the full PDF presentation and a habit tracker to help you apply the ideas and track your progress. Your support helps me keep creating more summaries, tools, and content like this, so thank you for being part of the journey. Every small habit counts. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell if you want more book summaries, productivity tips, and the ideas to level up your life. See you in the next video.